exciting episode of Dan's Recipes. So today we're going to be making kind of a Sunday afternoon classic. Well, not really, but we'll be making the traditional Jamaican Sunday afternoon staple: rice, chicken, and some vegetables. However, we have to switch things up a bit because that's what this channel is all about, switching stuff up. So today we're going to be making a orange barbecue chicken with a saffron yellow rice. On the side we have some green beans and a carrot pumpkin puree. This dish was actually inspired by my love for two things. One, yellow rice. I do love it very much. So I went to the grocery store, so I thought, okay, I can just buy a box of yellow rice. And then, you know, like your little alter ego kind of looked up at it and was like, we really going to buy yellow rice. You that know how to cook going to buy yellow rice. So like, okay, so I went and I got regular old rice. I got some turmeric, I got some saffron, some little spice cubes, and so I decided to make my own yellow rice from scratch. It really was a success. That pumpkin puree is something that I've loved as a child, and I still like eating it with certain dishes. And again, who doesn't love baked chicken? So that's what we'll be doing today. Just something quick, easy that you can cook on a Sunday or a Wednesday, doesn't matter. But it's just dinner for, you know, whoever. You can surprise your mother, surprise your man, your woman, it doesn't matter. Surprise yourself. And that's what we will be exploring today. Different flavor combinations, you know, savory notes, sweet notes, finding a good balance of flavors, which is what we do here every single Wednesday. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Remember to leave any comments, questions, concerns below. I know you guys might have some as it pertains to the spices that we used in this specific recipe. That said, let me know what you think. Let me know if this is something that you would probably try making. Tell me what you do differently. Ask me questions. That is what I'm here for. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Sit back and enjoy while we, you know, run through Dan's kitchen to see what we can chef up today. Alright guys, so I have some pre-seasoned leg quarters and wings. So reason for that is because in my house we only eat leg and wing, and I like the thigh, so that's just the only compromise we can find. These are pre-seasoned. In the comments below, I'm going to leave the instructions for the marinade, okay? But I can tell you offhand, this has been marinating for between 24 to 36 hours. I like my chicken well seasoned. And we have about 4 or 5 different spices, and we have some Worcestershire sauce that it's also been marinating in. So all that we're going to do is we're going to get a pan. I'm using a roasting pan, and I'm going to get some cooking spray. My mother finally put it in a reasonable place. And I'm going to just spray it like so. So a popular misconception is that you have to put oil in the pan when you're doing chicken, especially in the oven. You don't have to, because the chicken itself has fat and it will cook through, okay? So all we're going to do is we're going to take the bigger pieces first, and we're going to put down the leg quarters. Our oven is preheated at 220 degrees Celsius, and we're going to bake these until their internal temperature is 165 degrees, because that's the internal temperature of cooked chicken. So once we pop these in and I start to catch some more color, then we can start brushing on our barbecue sauce that we're going to be making next. Alright folks, we're going to be building our sauce for our chicken. It will have a barbecue base. We could have made a barbecue sauce from scratch, but I guess I can show you guys how to do that another day. But we'll essentially be making a orange barbecue sauce with some mustard seeds for added flavor and crushed red pepper for extra kick. So all we're going to do is we're going to whisk the sauce together in a saucepan, and then once our chicken starts to brown up a little, then we'll start basting them so that the flavors can infuse well. So we're going to go to proportions right now as we head over to the saucepan, to get all of these flavors going and just have it to the side. And we'll be treating it like how you treat Christmas ham, where you baste as you go along as the sauce kind of dries out. That's how we'll be basting our chicken today. Alright, so we're pouring in half cup of orange juice. Okay. Then we'll add 1/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar. And we're going to kind of let that come together for a few seconds. Please ensure that your flame is on low heat, because you don't want the sugar to start caramelizing and burning. Get your wooden spoon and just mix that out. Also, folks, you guys need to invest in a wooden spoon, okay? You can get a pack up Mega Mart for about $400 or $500 and stop mash up on the mother pot. Right, so while we allow that to kind of bubble up, we're going to be adding half cup of barbecue sauce and 1/3 of a cup of ketchup. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper next. Then we're going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of mustard seeds. You don't have to use mustard seeds, by the way, but they're very inexpensive. You can get it at General Foods. Like at this point, I feel like General Foods need to make me their brand ambassador or something, because every single thing is General Foods. And then we're just going to let that reduce down a bit so that it can thicken. You notice how thick it thin it kind of looks right now. We're going to just reduce that down until it becomes more like a sauce consistency as opposed to a gravy. Alright guys, so here you see our sauce thickening. This is how it's supposed to look. You don't want it to be much thicker than that. As you can see, it has reduced down by a bit because we started here. If you ever need to know if your sauce is reducing, just look at the mark here. This tells you where you started and where you're at now. So we started up here and we're right down below here. So we can start brushing this onto our chicken. So what you want to do is you just want to put it in a container and then pop your oven open and start brushing it. And then I'm going to show you guys, and you're going to repeat that steps until you're out of sauce. Alright, so you just get your pastry brush, mix the sauce around a bit, and then you just kind of start brushing it on. Just like that. You don't need to brush it on heavily at first. Right? You notice how your chicken kind of start catching color. So you just want to aid in that process, the process of catching color. We're making a yellow saffron rice, so we're going to go ahead and prep that now. Alright folks, so here we have some saffron. This little thing of saffron is $795 plus tax. I'm not telling anybody to buy saffron, okay? But it's also my first time cooking with it, so I was very curious to see what all the fuss was about, and also very curious to see if it was worth the $795 plus GCT. So first I'm gonna start by adding 1/4 teaspoon to the mortar, and then I'm gonna use this thing is called a pestle, and we're just gonna ground it out until it reaches a powdery consistency. Alright guys, so it's supposed to kind of look like that, just a little grounded. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another bit, just the same 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, and And then what we're going to do is we're going to add 1/4 cup of hot water so that the flavor of the saffron is pulled out. And then we'll add this to our rice. Okay, so as I said, you're putting just about 1/4 cup of boiling water onto the saffron, and you're going to let it sit there for about 5 minutes until the flavors open up and it begins to infuse. And then you're just going to pour the saffron bits and the liquid and everything into the pot with the rice once we get to our rice going. Alright folks, so I'm using these Maggi onion and garlic bouillon cubes. That's what I know them as. I'm using 2 of them. These are little flavor pack bombs that I really like. Okay, so we're just gonna open them up, and since we'll be cooking rice, one thing that we'll be doing different today is that we won't just be using regular old plain water. Okay, so let's put down 2 of these. So we're going to be doing 2 things today. We're going to get the flavor out of these bouillon cubes, and we're also going to be using vegetable stock to cook our rice to infuse flavor. So I have some hot water, and I'm gonna pour in about 3 cups. All right. And so what eventually is going to happen is that the water itself is going to take on the flavor of the cubes, and this is what we'll be using as to cook our rice today, along with some vegetable stock, because everywhere we turn we want to have flavor in something. Okay, so using vegetable stock on its own is great, but imagine just having the onion and the garlic component in a cube infused in water. That is also going to help you build on your flavor profile. So we're going to wash our rice and put some oil in the pot, chop up a single garlic clove, get that sauteed, and then we're going to pour in our saffron liquid, pour in our bouillon cubes, or bouillon cube liquid, or vegetable stock, and we'll get our rice going. And we're using about 3 cups of rice. Okay, so I've put about 1 tablespoon of oil in this pot. I know it doesn't really look like it, but 1 tablespoon of oil is in. We're just adding some onions and garlic. Well, no, it's not onions, it's just half of an onion. And we're going to give that a good mix. And we're just going to add that in. And that smells really good, by the way. All right. Next, we're going to add 1 cup of vegetable stock. I'm using unsalted vegetable stock because I want to build my own flavors. So just about a cup. Okay. And you give that a good mix. And you don't have to worry about the color of it. It's stock. It's going to have an overpowering color from the saffron, along with the turmeric powder that we'll be putting in. Alright, so now we add our saffron. Right, and that's going to help with the flavor along with that beautiful yellow color. And just to ensure that we have that color that we want, we're adding just about 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. Not curry powder, guys, turmeric. That's the part of the curry powder before it becomes curry powder. And then you give that a good mix. And you notice how the color of the liquid kind of changes and starts looking a little bit more yellow than when we had initially started. Okay? And then we want to salt this. And remember how we salt from above? We don't want to put too much, so just about 2 pinches. Mix that around and just let the water draw down, as my mother would say, and let it cook. We'll add our butter at the end, so we're going to add in butter and parsley at the end. Okay, and remember to cover your pot as it cooks. Alright guys, so do you notice how you start getting that beautiful caramel color? And that's the color you want, and like I said, you're basting at intervals. So let's put on another coating. You notice how the color inside our pot is yellow? That's exactly what you want to happen. Liquid started here, so it's reducing down. Our rice is absorbing it. You can just give it a stir. Okay. And in the meantime, what I've done is I've chopped some chives and parsley to stir in at the end with butter. Alright guys, so we're going to test our internal temperature to see how done we are. We're going to test the thigh. We should be at 165. Let's just plug it in. Try not to hit any bones. And remember, I tell you guys, invest in one of these. You won't regret it. Alright, so we're at about 150. Still have some time to go, so we can glaze them up again. Alright guys, so one of the things is that I recommend, if you're baking chicken or roasting chicken, do it with the skin on. What that does for you, it packs on flavor underneath that skin. Trust me, there's a reason why, you know, people like KFC or so, or I mean companies like KFC will leave the skin on, especially when they're selling you thighs, because they know that underneath the skin there's just tons of flavor underneath there. So leave the skin on, don't take it off. I know some people don't like it, but keep it on, and I guess when you're finished you can take it off, but it really will help you with developing your flavors. And we should have maybe another 10-15 minutes on them and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, so our chicken is just about ready to pull out. I'm just glazing them one more time. I've turned the oven down to around 175 degrees Celsius, and the reserve gravy that I have, well, not gravy, sauce, I'm gonna just put it on the side of the plate because we have an excess. So do you see how beautiful they look? Alright guys, so we're going to make something that I enjoy, which is a carrot pumpkin puree. We're just gonna get started on chopping up some carrots. You know, you don't have to worry about the size of them, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna boil them. Okay, so I'm chopping up about 1 large carrot and a medium one. And then we're going to do the same for our pumpkin. And then we're just gonna boil them, run them through a blender, spice them, and we can have it on the side. After we do this, we get started on our green beans. Well, string beans. Alright guys, so our water is boiling hot, so we've poured in our pumpkin and carrot pieces. We're going to just allow these to boil until they're cooked. Should take around 10 minutes. Once those are done, we'll strain off the excess water and we'll run them through the blender to make our puree. Alright guys, so we're pouring in about 1/4 cup of evaporated milk. Next, we're going to add half a tablespoon of that mixed spice, that Benjamin's mixed spice. Okay. And I tasted the carrots. They were a bit sweet, so I won't add any sugar. So if you find that your carrots aren't so sweet, you can add just about a teaspoon of sugar. If I taste it and it doesn't taste as sweet, I also will add a teaspoon of sugar. Then I'm gonna puree this for a few seconds. And this is the consistency you're supposed to have, not too liquidy, not too thick. This is the right consistency. Okay. Alright guys, so the whole point of this puree is to have some cream on the plate without having too much cream. So far you guys haven't heard me talk much about balance, but we're still balancing plates. We have to balance out our dish, so we'll get that nice savory note from the rice. We have those beautiful flavors coming out of the chicken, and so we need some sort of cream to just kind of tie the entire dish together, and this is what that puree is going to do. Okay guys, so our rice is almost finished. We're going to pull it off just to let it steam a bit off the heat, and then we're going to stir in our butter and our fresh herbs. It smells glorious. Alright guys, so I've added in chopped parsley and chives and some butter. I'm gonna give this a good mix. And the aroma that you're getting from it, from the chives and the parsley, is really, really good. Oops. Just leave it fluffed a bit. Okay, here we have some green beans, or string beans as we like to call them. All I've done is I've just taken off the tips and the stem right here. I've just cut those parts off, and all we're gonna do next is we're gonna blanch them. Alright guys, so we have our heavy bottom saute pan and our green beans. I've added just about half cup of water. It's just about boiling, and now is when we want to put in our green beans, because what we're going to do is we're going to blanch them, meaning we're not boiling them, we're just letting the hot water like just run over them for a second, and then we're going to pull them out and soak them in an ice bath. You can just use a spoon to ensure that all of them kind of just get coated in the water. This water is not salted or anything. We'll do all of that after we're sauteing the beans with some dry white wine, some oil, salt and pepper and garlic. So let's go prepare our ice bath. Now we just pour these in, and instantly they'll stop cooking. You let them just soak for a couple minutes until they get cold, and then we'll throw them back in the pan. So let's get started on our coating for them. Alright guys, so we're just going to pour in some olive oil. Well, this is an olive oil and sunflower blend. I really like this blend. I'm gonna start buying it more. Next up, we're going to add in some garlic. Alright, next we add in our green beans. We're going to just add a splash of dry white wine. Alright. Then we may add our salt and pepper, and do this on high heat, just so that it cooks very quickly. so we're at the end. This is the finished product. This is what it looks like when all is said and finished. Of course, you probably don't have to go all out and play it so fancy, but of course I'm trying to impress you guys. So I hope that you guys will try this recipe. Of course, remember, new video every single Wednesday. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Again, leave your comments, your questions below. I want to hear them. I want to know what you think about this dish. I want to know if you have any questions about substitutions. I'd be happy to answer those for you. And as usual, from my kitchen to yours, bon appetit.